If you've seen anything about the employee retention credit in the news, then maybe you're like me and you're seeing people post about it on LinkedIn, or maybe even you're getting some emails every single week about how your business could qualify. Well, today I want to share with you everything you need to know and everything you need to do to get ready to see if your business can qualify for up to $26,000 per W-2 employee. So stick around, you're not going to want to miss this. So you heard right. Not too long ago, I was recording a different video about the employee retention credit, and I just typed it into Google to see what was popping up in that first page. I found an IRS document on the first page of Google that is completely outdated. Now, it might say this page is not current, and then it just gives you all these links to other pages and says if you got PPP, then you don't qualify. By the way, that's not true anymore, at least. Well, I wanted to get you ready. So today I want to talk about the documents that you want to prepare, one way you could consider applying for it, and then just to be prepared, how long it actually takes to get the money. But before we do that, please don't forget to drop a like for this video. And if you want to continue the conversation, I just opened access to our private Discord server. Feel free to check it out. Now, I've done videos on who qualifies. I've done videos on how to apply. But no matter what, the information I've realized is just not out there in an easy to find, concise, and updated way. So let me break it down for you plain and simple. During 2020, when all of the PPP, EIDL, and ERC stimulus packages were coming out, the ERC, the Employee Retention Credit, got ignored simply because it was very easy to apply for a PPP loan, PPP round 1, round 2, and the SBA was in charge of the EIDL, so there were tons of YouTube videos all about EIDL and PPP. Well, unfortunately, when the rules changed, and they've changed, and they opened up the Employee Retention Credit, the ERC, to people who had W-2 employees, even if they got PPP, even if they got EIDL, most people never got that news. For example, if you go and you check with your local accountant, or if you contact your payroll company and you say, am I eligible for ERC? The accountants may be swamped and just don't have the time to learn and become specialists on how to file for this on your behalf. You might say, don't I pay them to do this anyway? Well, not normally in the scheme and scope of their everyday work. Likewise, your payroll company is in charge of processing payroll, maybe some form of HR benefits, and they have to also file something called your quarterly 941s. Those are your payroll documents sent to the IRS. So most payroll companies aren't going to be in the business of amending those 941s on your behalf simply because you are now able to retroactively go back and get ERC credit. Which brings me to our first topic. What documents do you actually need in order to begin an analysis to figure out if you qualify for this valuable payroll tax credit? And the first thing I would say is your quarterly 941 forms from 2020 and 2021. Now, to my independent contractors out there, sole proprietors, 1099s, people that pay their employees with cash, this is not going to apply for you. The 941s are quarterly tax forms generated by your payroll company. So whether you use ADP, Paychecks, Gusto, maybe you're part of a PEO, those companies file your 941s each quarter, like right at the end of the quarter, within 30 days. And they're filed for 2020 and 2021, so long as you had W-2 employees. Now, even if you're shut down 1 month completely, you didn't even pay anybody payroll, they still file a 941 on your behalf. So you're going to need to go get those 941 forms for all of 2020 and all of 2021. Now, the second piece of paperwork that you're going to need is something called a detailed payroll report. Now, the reason for that is the IRS needs to see a couple of things. They need to see your employees' names, not their social security numbers, none of that private information, just your employees' names, their gross pay, and then when you paid them, like the check date, or you could do this by the month or the quarter. But you need employee name, gross pay, and then broken down by check date, month, or quarter. And the reason for that is there's no way to fudge this or make this stuff up. You have these W-2 employees on the books. You're going to send that information, that payroll information, into the IRS via these 941s. And so long as that information kind of matches up, then an analysis can be completed down to the penny on how much you're entitled to. Which brings me to point number 2 for me. How can you actually go about applying? Well, I would tell you to check with your local accountant first, okay? They should have already told you about this. Also, check with your payroll company. But if you're like me, I use Gusto for my payroll, they are simply offboarding this to a third party. And that's where I would recommend actually starting. Full disclosure, I have partnered with the ERC specialists. They're a company that's about a year old, and they can help complete the analysis for you. It's completely free to upload your documents and fill out the qualifying questionnaire. But if you're somebody out there looking to do this yourself, then I don't know, I just can't recommend that. I can't recommend, even if you do your own taxes, I doubt you do your own payroll. Usually you have somebody for that. And you pay for what you get. If you want a specialist to get you back this money, then I would check out the link down below in the description. It's completely free to do so. I vetted this company. While it is free for the analysis, if you decide to file with them, they charge a fee, but in my opinion, it is well worth it to have somebody who's calculated this, looked at your documents, and even provides audit support. And the third thing I want to point out is kind of just a summary of it all. I wouldn't pre-qualify or disqualify yourself. Just the other day, I helped a sub company. You're like, subs, like submarine sandwiches? Yeah, a sub company. They got back just over $1,000 in ERC credits. That was money that they were entitled to, $1,000. Some of you might go, that's small change, but that was money that was not in their pocket that they now have back to use for supplies, for overhead, you name it. And on the other side of the coin, I just helped a dentistry practice. They have 2 locations. They're out in the Colorado area. And if you remember, those dentist offices, they had to be closed down because everyone's wearing masks. Everyone thinks like things are contagious and might spread. You got to get vaccines, what have you. Dentist office were one of the first businesses to close and one of the last ones to open basically on a full scale. So once you have your paperwork in order, once you've talked to the local accountant or your CPA, if you decide to file, this could be anywhere between 3 or 4 times as much as a PPP loan that you may have already received. So it is well worth it to you to check it out. And again, if you want to see my link down below in the description, you can get some ideas, some numbers going, and then upload those documents and see what they come back with. All right, a couple of key takeaways. Anytime you're talking about taxes, I heard an old saying, you bring your taxes to 10 CPAs, they'll come back with 10 different numbers. Because a lot of times it comes down to education. If you're a business owner who has a business vehicle, then there's more than one way to write off that vehicle. You could track your mileage, you could track, the interest payments, the oil changes. It depends on who you're talking to. But no matter who your accountant is or who you decide to go with, get your paperwork in order first. You're going to need all 4 941 forms from 2020 and all 4 941 forms from 2021. Now, just to be clear, the program started with Q2 in 2020, but just get them all together so that you have here's 2020 and here's 2021. Same thing with 2021. They excluded Q4 unless you're a recovery startup business. You can kind of see how this gets complicated. Just get all 4 quarters so you have your paperwork in order. Likewise, that second piece, that detailed payroll report, needs to be broken down by check date, month or quarter, and just have the employee's name and at least their gross pay. Then, however you decide to file, you can get access to these funds, get the money back from the government, and kind of go on with whatever you have as your business. And to any of my sole proprietors out there, people who are into things like affiliate marketing, maybe some of my other YouTube creators, I'm going to leave a second link down below in the description to an ERC affiliate program. If you cannot take advantage of this program yourself, you can still help friends or people in your network get back these government funds, because time is ticking. You can make this a win-win situation, get a commission from helping them, and they get the money back too. Otherwise, the government keeps all of it, and I don't want to see that for anybody. By the way, there are tons of more resources about ERC, the Employee Retention Credit, on my website. So feel free to go check that out and send me a message if you have any questions. Also, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. All right, as always, I'm Rich, and until next time.